TNN, Buffalo's number 10 source for the news. In today's edition, we take a special look at 3 pieces of literature and how we can relate their teachings to everyday life. First off, we have Phil McCracken. Phil?
Well, Dom, Huckleberry Finn is an American classic written by Mark Twain in the mid-1800s. Huckleberry Finn is about a young boy named Huckleberry Finn and a runaway slave named Jim. Huck and Jim go on a myriad of adventures to help Jim achieve his freedom.
Phil, what can we learn from Huck Finn?
Well, there are many different themes that can be found in this novel, but 2 of the most important are friendship and just because something's normal in society does not mean that it is right. At the beginning of this novel, Huck Finn thinks that slavery is right because that's what the normal is in society. But later on in the novel, he finds out that slavery is not okay and everything that is normal in society is not always right. Friendship is a theme in this novel because Huck and Jim create and build their friendship that keeps them together all throughout the novel and ultimately brings Jim to his freedom.
Well, how does that relate to today's society, Phil?
These relate to today's society because it is important to have your own thoughts and to not just go with the crowd. In society today, there are many different things that are not right, but they're normal because everyone tries to be like each other. Everybody needs to be independent and be their own person.
Next up, we have The Telltale Heart, a classic American poem written by Edgar Allan Poe. Reporting on this one is Billy Ray. Billy?
Well, Dominic, The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe is a short story about one man who perceives another man as evil because of his fake glass eye. Now, the man sneaks into the man he sees as crazy's room at night and just watches him for 7 nights in a row, just staring at his eye, and he can't control himself. He just thinks the eye is evil and has to get rid of him. So on the 8th night, he sneaks into the man's room again, and this time waking him up. But instead of just watching him this time, he sneaks up, kills him, and dismembers his body. He hides him in the floorboards. But just before he killed the man made a loud shriek. And this was what called the cops to be called. And when they came to the home much later at night, and the man who committed the murder took the police into the house, showed them around after he'd already cleaned up, and they sat down in the room where he actually killed the man. Now, everything seemed normal, everything was going just fine, and so they didn't suspect anything, and they were just about to leave. And then the man who committed the murder hears a thumping, and what he believes to be the man he just killed's heart, the man with the evil eye. And he goes, and this thumping just gets louder and louder until he can't take it anymore, and he just admits to the murder and tells the police, of which they didn't even suspect at all.
Well, Billy, what can we learn from The Telltale Heart?
The lesson you should take away from this story is that guilt will always get to you. It will eventually control your every thought, so it's better off to just do the right thing in the first place.
And how can we relate that to society, Bill?
It's just better off to do the right thing. If you're always going around doing the wrong thing, eventually you're just going to go crazy like this guy because you can't think straight with all that guilt you have on you. So, if you're just doing the right thing, like a wise man once said, if you always tell the truth, you never have to remember what you said.
Bill, I'm just getting word that you have another story for us?
In the cremation of Sam McGee, a man named Cap meets a man named Sam McGee up in the Alaskan frontier. Sam, originally from the southern United States, likes it warm. And he just says to Cap that he can never ever get warm, that it'll be the death of him. So it ends up that Sam does die, but before he dies, he makes Cap promise him that he'll have his body cremated. And Cap gladly makes this promise to Sam because it's his last request. So once Sam passes away, Cap takes him on a dog sled, and he's trying to find a spot to get Sam cremated, to keep up with his promise. So he eventually finds a boat stuck in the lake, and he goes in the boiler, fills it up with some coal, gets the fire going real well, and throws Sam's body in there. He can't stand to hear the sound of his body burning, so he goes away. Then a few hours later he comes back and he opens the door just to see if the body has been burned, and he sees Sam McGee sitting there saying, "Please shut the door and because you're letting out all the cold. This is the first time I've ever been warm."
Well, what's the life lesson that we can learn out of this story, Bill?
The lesson you should take away from this poem is that you always have to keep your promise.
And how does that relate to society?
Everyone should keep their promises. Good promises make good friends. That's how you gain trust, earn trust. And if you can't keep a promise, no one's gonna like you. Let's get real here, alright guys?
Well, that's all we have for tonight on TNN. Please join us next week for more literary action.